Hi everyone, and welcome to our Seer Sunday reading, where we get a look at the energy that will meet us in the week ahead, get Spirit's guidance and advice for how we can use it to our highest, greatest benefit. For those who don't know me, my name is Deanna, and I am a intuitive card reader, psychic channeler, and seer, and we do this every Sunday to get us prepared, prepped, and able to meet the next week with confidence. So let's get into it. As always, I want to start with our pre-shuffle energy. So what I was getting is I heard the word foghorn, and then I saw like standing on the deck of a boat at night, like in a really like totally foggy, misty place where we couldn't really see where we were going. And I kept hearing the whoa of like the fog. I can't do the whoa of the foghorn. Sorry. I kept hearing the foghorn go off, and it was funny because it felt like it was truth that was breaking through the fog. And I kind of felt like the fog was related to some kind of like our past, like it was kind of like a fogginess of the mind of like, what is going on? Like, what is happening? What am I supposed to be doing right now? Like, it was kind of that kind of energy, like, but it's all like, I feel like it's a lot of past energies that are fogging and clouding up our current reality that I'm hearing don't need to stay. So I was definitely getting that. And I was also seeing at one point a lighthouse where we could see like, okay, I'm close to shore here, right? It's like, we know, I'm hearing like we know we're close to something new opening up for us. I just heard in the peripherals. So it's like something that's in our peripherals of like, we know it's opening up for us. But we're also kind of unsure of what exactly is opening up. So it's kind of this I'm hearing wait and see. But we also can feel that it's time for us to make some changes too. And again, I do feel like it was kind of a carry on from last week's energy. Obviously every week's energy, you know, it just builds on the last week's. But where we had some really powerful speaking our truth cards. And that's what that foghorn felt like to me. It was like speaking our truth and like loudly to break through the fog and allow ourselves to let the lighthouse know we're on our way, is what this felt like. Like, I'm here, like, because we can see the light, but not where it hits the shore. And we can't see like, is it a rocky shore? Is there somewhere to dock the boat? Like, it was just very foggy. And I'm hearing it's a time where we're being asked to have a lot of just, I'm hearing like blind faith, like not in like a like, oh, I'm just not gonna make any choices, but like I know I can feel, like it's like we can feel in our bodies and in our spirits that there is something new coming in, and that we just have to trust that if I'm hearing utilizing the lessons that we've learned. So again, for last week, it was speaking our truth, where maybe in the past, not speaking our truth has actually not made us happy. And they're referencing, for me, I watched another reader this week who referenced like kind of where we make contracts with the devil energy of the tarot, which is our obsessions or toxic patterns and behaviors in order to reach happiness and love, right? So it's kind of like if we're saying like, okay, in the past, my contract with the devil has been to not say what I think and feel in order to keep the things that I want to keep, right? We may be saying, you know what, that hasn't actually made me happy, and I traded all of this stuff for that. So maybe we're moving in a new direction. But I feel like it's like so for instance, like if we're breaking that contract, we are the foghorn using our voice and saying like, I just know that this is the next step for me. I know this is what I need to do for my evolution, my own growth, and my own well-being. And knowing that act will lead you safely to shore, even though you can't see it, okay? So we've got 3 out this week. Wow, guys. So we've got the camel, the shark, and the vulture. So let's go one at a time. So first off, we've got the camel. The camel is about self-sufficiency, but in a way where we are self-regulating our own emotional and internal environment. So I feel like we're actually staying really calm throughout this. Like, I feel like because we can feel it. I do feel like there's a little bit of worry and anxiety, but I actually feel like we are learning some really awesome self-soothing and self-coping skills this week. Because the camel, if you think about what it does, it stores water in its hump so that while it's out in this hot, dry, arid, resourceless, area where there is no water, there's very little nourishment, right? It's able to cool itself down from the inside. So this is when someone really pushes those buttons, instead of letting them come in and take control and rip your emotional state into chaos, you go, okay, let me self-cool. where is this coming from? How can I bring myself back to center? How can I depersonalize this, right? And it's about using our intuition and that inner part of ourselves, that inner mother, that inner knowing, that inner being, to nourish and bring ourselves back down and cool the heat from what we're feeling of. I'm hearing of a time of great change, but also it may be a week in which, again, we're kind of going like, we may have to blow that foghorn a couple times this week and really speak our truth again and be like, you know what, I'm hearing like that kind of pissed me off, and we need to talk about it, right? Or it's stuff like that, like our buttons may be getting pushed, but we're learning self-regulation through it. And then we've got the shark, and the shark is about honesty. This is about exposure, right? Sharks are only dangerous when we don't know that they're in the water. So we have to be able to say and acknowledge, this is what's going on under the surface of my emotional waters. So this may be something we've been kind of keeping close to ourselves, like a secret or a truth or an opinion that maybe we haven't expressed before. But this is about finally being able to say it and express it in a way that we are able to, I'm hearing act on it, but in a very direct way, where it's like I'm hearing not pulling punches and just saying, and they're saying like the shark is a water card, which means it's still about emotion and it's about compassion, but it's about being direct. Like the shark doesn't try and hide its true nature, and it's not inherently bad for being the way it is. It's one of many parts of nature in which there's a food chain, and we all have different roles and parts, right? So the shark isn't hiding their nature anymore. They're saying, look, this is who I am. If you get in the water with me, you're taking a risk, right? And like, so we know who they are because they're very direct and upfront about their nature, right? And again, they're only dangerous when we don't know they're there and we can't work with them the way that we need to, okay? Or for some people, avoid them completely, right? But this is about not avoiding it and actually getting in the water with it and going like, what is under the surface for me? And what do I need to express and expose? This is about direct exposure and honesty here. And then we've got the vulture. So the vulture is something that obviously clears out what's dead, broken, and no longer the toxic, the things that are no longer serving us. The vulture comes up and cleans up our ecosystem so that it minimizes the spread of disease, right? Disease is dis-ease, right? So it's about clearing out the things where maybe in the past we have not been able to self-regulate, those past triggers that have made it very difficult for us to come back to center, to self-regulate, to not personalize. And then also with the shark, clearing out the things that have told us it's not safe to say our truth, and where we feel like we can't own ourselves and allow ourselves to come forward and say, this is who I am, direct, exposed, take it or leave it, right? So I really feel like this vulture's coming in to say, where I'm hearing in the kind of the final stages of at least one, they're saying like the growing's never done, but I do feel like there's a major shift. And again, I think that's that we can see the lighthouse, but we're still a little in the fog here. The vulture's coming in to help us clear out that fog and to get us safely to shore, to make sure that by the time we get to shore, I'm seeing like a bunch of like seaweed being like mixed up in the rudders of the boat. And it's like, it's clearing that out so that we're able to safely navigate to shore, park the boat, and start a new chapter. Okay. So that's what that feels like to me. Honestly, these are really awesome cards. I'm actually really digging the energy of this because again, the camel's coming from a place of like being, it's like calm in the chaos still. Like we're still in a place of empowerment. And the shark, I'm hearing, is coming to a place of self-acceptance. Like we have to acknowledge like there are some aspects of me that I haven't been honest with, or I haven't been giving the time of day, or I haven't been giving that expressive voice to, that it's time to, right? And the vulture is what makes us feel safe to do so. So we have, this is not how the story ends. So if I'm hearing for feeling a little apathetic and kind of like, is this as good as it gets? Like, am I always just going to feel this confused? Am I always going to feel this lost? No, this is not how the story ends. And if you look up here on the dates, it's got infinity signs. And also I love to point out in this card, like we're the ones holding the pen. We're the ones looking out at the world and writing the story that we want here. So I will say it's not how the story ends. And this is where I'm hearing we find our power to write the story that we want to live, right? This is where, if we're not looking at what's under the waters and what we really want, because sometimes I'm hearing the shark is sometimes desires that we have that we won't let ourselves acknowledge. Like, you know, oh, I really am attracted to that person, but I better not be. Or, you know, things like that, like, or where we're like, no, I want money, but we feel guilty about wanting wealth, right? It's things like that, like letting ourselves really come to terms with our I'm hearing primal and instinctual and personal desires, mindsets, thoughts, opinions, feelings, to allow ourselves to write a story that actually rings true for us. And then we've got the software update. So up in this little computer screen, it says it's a lot of little words, but it basically says like you have a choice, right? It's just like when your phone says, hey, there's a software update, you have a choice. You can choose to upgrade it and get all of the new features and be able to work through the world in this new upgraded spiritual lens, or we can stay where we want and work out of outdated software, right? We have that choice. But I really feel like we're saying like, let's take this, right? Because we're clearing out some stuff, and this is that we have to clear out stuff in order to get the software update again that lets us come into this new chapter of life in a totally different energy than what we've experienced before. Like I really do feel like we're moving into something that we really don't have a point of reference for, which might be part of why it feels scary to us, because we're kind of like, I don't have any point of reference for what's possible outside of what I've already experienced. And so when we're in those foggy waters, it's like, I hope this new shore is better or different. And sometimes even something that we know is better, just because it's different can be anxiety inducing, okay? Then we've got this as a spell. So what I love about this card, look at all the 333s. There's 333s everywhere. So this is definitely my look for synchronicities card. There will be a lot of synchronicities that are going to point you towards what they would like you to pay attention to this week. You may actually see 333 a lot, specifically on this card, but pay attention to 1111, 222, or 4, whatever your numbers are, or whatever recurring numbers you get, look them up and see what their message is behind it. And also another great thing to point out about this card is they're going around the bend. You're getting all these signs, right? But you have no idea what's waiting for you around the bend, which is very similar to the energy of like being on that foggy boat deck, not really knowing what the shore looks like yet because the clouds haven't cleared yet. We just know that we're close, okay? So this is like knowing we're close to our destination. It's right around the corner, but hanging in there and just paying attention to the signs that are coming to us as they come. And then we've got It's Not About You. So I love this. I feel like we're clearing out a lot of narratives that have been transposed upon us that are not ours, right? All of the judgments around like, oh, I'm not allowed to want that, or I'm not allowed to desire that, or I'm not allowed to be that, or I can't say that, or they'll be upset with me, right? None of that is ours. All of that is stuff that has been superimposed. My guide's saying like heavy BS that's been superimposed upon us by other people in our lives to keep the crowd happy, right? But you're the star of the show here, right? You're the star of your own show. So you have to make sure that you're in alignment for you, right? Because these people are only going to enjoy the show if this person is enjoying themselves, right? They're referencing like our favorite comedians. Like the best comedians are the ones that you know are just having the time of their lives up there, and that's what they would want to be doing whether or not there were people in the audience. That's just them enjoying their own jokes. Like the comedians who think that they're hysterical are the ones we love the most, right? And not in an egoic way, but where like the joke is so funny they can't help but just start laughing, right? That's what the energy we're sitting in is like, the show is only good if I'm being authentic, right? And so it is about you in a way, but it's also clearing out all the things that are not about you that would make you insecure about taking center stage in your own life, okay? So let's see what else we got here. Oh, I love this. We got What a Time to Be Alive. This is about stopping and smelling the roses, and I'm hearing try to find fun and bliss and joy and gratitude. And like this to me, like when I think about the energy of sitting and watching the sunrise or the sunset, I often feel very emotional because I just feel this insane rising of just an immense amount of gratitude to be alive and witnessing that moment, right? So I really feel like that's how they want us to feel about this time of change, because they're telling me it's a time we're going to look back on and be like, wow, that was such a pivotal time for me, and I had no idea that it was such a... It's funny because I almost feel like it's one of those times where it's like foggy and challenging, but in the future we will look back on it with reverence, but gratitude, but also like fondness. Like I feel like this is a time where we actually have an opportunity to be really present. Okay, they're referencing a card that I pulled. First, those who know Spiral Circle, we do the pick a card things at the register where you get a random oracle message. And I got the Whale Spirit card 2 days ago, and it says... like embracing the great mystery, or like enjoying the great mystery or something like that. That's what this is. It's saying have fun with the fact that we don't know what's coming, and that the universe is just going to get to surprise us with something that is going to make us incredibly happy, right? And another thing that can help us sit in that energy is to understand that we're just passing through, right? We're just sitting in this energy temporarily. This is not going to last for long. But there are lessons to be learned here that are very valuable for taking us into what's next, what's coming. And again, I just keep getting this thing like this shore is going to be amazing. And I feel like we can feel that in our bones, but sometimes it's hard to trust it when we can't see it. So just keep going and know that this fog is temporary. The fog always clears and we will find our way forward. And they're saying we're already on the way forward. It's just not clear to us. Okay. So that is our Seer Sunday reading. I hope that it resonates for you. Again, we do this every Sunday. So I will see you next Sunday for our Seer Sunday reading. Hope you have a great week. Bye, everyone.